Welcome to the We Are Women Empowered podcast, where our goal is to empower you to create your best life now. Here's your host, Nikki Ubaldini.
Welcome, everybody. It's Nikki Ubaldini, and we are Women Empowered, and I am here with my wonderful cohort in crime, Priscilla Everhart. She is, as you all know, she's my right arm, my left arm, and just my soul sister from another mother and a different father. So there you go. But we have a lovely lady that actually Priscilla has introduced me to, and Priscilla introduces me to some of the most amazing women. But you're going to love this story. Tina Kearney is here today with us, and she is a powerful woman that had a powerful life. And it's interesting because she has a very different life now than she did 30 years ago. And I think that we all need to learn from this. You know, currently she is a Reiki master, an Opus Peace soul. She is an injury ambassador, a licensed massage therapist. Okay, I'm gonna Ashiatsu barefoot massage. Hey, I said it right. Ashiatsu barefoot massage is her specialty. I cannot wait to try that. I am ecstatic about that opportunity. And of course, she is a certified health coach. So she's taken all these pieces and has found a way to make a difference, not only in her life, but a difference in other people's lives. So I'm going to welcome today, Tina. Welcome. We're so glad you're here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It really, truly is an honor. Thank you, Priscilla, for connecting us together.
Yes.
You're absolutely welcome.
And Tina is beautiful. If you're not watching the video, you're listening. She's as beautiful on the outside as she is on the inside. She's wearing her sparkly shirt because her light is shining. And I want everybody to know that if they're just listening. So with that said, you worked a very powerful job in New York City on Wall Street for what? Many, many years, right?
Yeah, 30 years in total.
30 years. Highly successful, correct?
Correct.
But you were also told something by your father when you were a young girl, because you chose not to go to college like the rest of your family. And
Correct.
what did your father say to you?
My father, he point blank said to me, "You're never going to be anybody." And that was the way that he was raised, though, as I had, we discussed.
Absolutely. There's no judgment on Dad because they did the best they could.
Yes, they did.
And that was intended to encourage you to go to school.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yes.
that was his way of doing that. Yet, interestingly enough, many that might be listening have heard that from a family member, and it absolutely crushed them.
Mm-hmm.
But you turned it around into something else.
Yes. I turned that into my power.
Right. And you became a very powerful woman on Wall Street, at the head of your game. You said that you were the top in sales for almost every year that you were on Wall Street working.
Correct. The top in sales and recruiting for almost every year that I worked. Mm-hmm.
Sales and recruiting. It's unbelievable to hear that. Now, It's interesting, but 23 years into it, like your life started to change, right? You also went through a divorce. People didn't know that. So you looked up and realized that was not where you wanted to be in your life, correct?
Correct.
And you made a decision. But at 23 years in your job, which you said you loved.
I did for a very long time. I loved it. I was always out meeting clients. I was putting people together. I'm a relationship person. Communication and deep connection is very important to me. And it's who I am. It was what I was put on this earth for. I know that is my purpose, having that deep connection with people and helping them on their journey.
But
that was a professional journey. It was a technology professional journey on Wall Street. That was my journey at the time.
But 23 years in, something changed. It didn't feel the same. You didn't have that same fire and joy. Tell us about that.
Well, I couldn't figure out what it was for quite a while, but I knew it just felt like every day it was a struggle. And every day I would force myself to show up and be the best that I could be. And after a while, it was depleting me. I literally got to the point where I felt like all I had was a flicker of a pilot light left. And I'm not that person at all. I'm the bright light that walks in the room. So I had to go inside and figure out why I was so unfulfilled, why I was so unhappy in a space that I loved for such a long time. So I embarked on that journey, and it was a personal choice, first of all, knowing that as an adult, we are the ones responsible for our lives. We have that choice. We have the power within. And I knew that through all of I would watch Super Soul Sunday. That was my favorite show. And God bless Oprah Winfrey. That show changed my life. I watched all these different spiritual leaders, and that's where it became very clear to me my unhappiness was within. I was losing that connection.
I want to go back on that because you plugged into those spiritual people and that motivational, inspirational information.
Yes.
When you found yourself struggling.
Yes.
So I know that some of our people are listening going, okay, well, that's great. I'm at that point. I don't know what to do. What do I do? So you started feeding your soul.
Correct.
Okay. So I want people to hear that. So, what happened when you started feeding your soul with that positive energy and mindset and, affirmations and things like that?
It is truly amazing. I found myself at first, I started listening to Deepak and Oprah's 21-day free meditation series. I'm like, I have to meditate. I have to sit. I have to be in stillness. I'm asking God to show me the way, but we don't listen most of the time because we're too busy, right? And that's the truth. So I had to do it. And it was so hard at first because I worked so fast, so hard, worked on Wall Street, dynamic multitasker. I'm a Leo. I was go, 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 go. And I would sit and then okay, I'm listening. And then I'd look after they spoke in the beginning introduction, I would look and go, okay, I've got to be 5 minutes into this 10-minute meditation. And I would look and I would go, oh my God, it's 30 seconds. I'm never going to be able to make it ever. This is not going to happen. Stop, pause. You can do anything you set your mind to and you put your heart into it. And I was dedicated. I made a commitment to me. I made a commitment to myself. And I did it every day without fail, twice a day, morning and night, every single day. And now I find myself not wanting to get off my meditation pillow. And that was a pinnacle change and shift in my life because I was so divinely connected to God, or whatever anyone wants to call it, God, source, the universe, whatever your belief is. It's that connection. And really, then all of my senses, whether you're seeing what's going on around you or you're hearing, sometimes we say we're listening, we don't want to hear what is to be said, right? That's the truth. People don't want to hear the truth a lot of times.
Absolutely.
I was one of the, oh, no, you just keep going. No, all of my senses are now very heightened and I'm very aware and I listen. And when I ask for guidance, it doesn't take forever anymore. It really starts happening and life. Then I literally felt like a black cloak was taken off of me and the sun started shining again. And that's why I named my business Soul Shine Wellness. It starts from within.
So I know there's people questioning, well, but how long did it take you to settle into the meditation? I mean, you said it was the 21 days, and they do say 21 days creates a new habit, blah, blah, blah. Was it 21 days? Did it take you months? Was it a couple weeks? what was it, for somebody as dynamic as you are, number one, I heard you say it took your commitment
Yes.
to yourself.
Yes.
And I'm committed to doing this.
Yes.
And I think that's the first decision.
Yes.
But it also takes practice, because it's not something that comes easy to calm our minds
Yes.
and to be still. And I'm preaching to the choir here. So tell us, how long did it take you to all of a sudden feel that rhythm of it working for you?
Truthfully, it honestly, behaviorally speaking, because of the health coaching and the
Right.
wellness coaching I do, it really takes 6 months for you to change a behavior. It did take me a few months. It was not easy, but I was committed. And each day it got a little easier, and a little bit more enjoyable. And the benefits in my body, in my mind, I was much, like I said, more clarity, calmer. In a business where there's a lot of people on Wall Street that are, yelling and barking and this and that, my greatest power was delivering a message to someone very calmly, and a lot of times actually turning it around and phrasing a question to that person so they don't feel like they're on the defensive. It empowers both parties.
Right.
And it became very clear to me that I am not my job. My role did not define who I am at my core. Okay. So
You
I
had to
realized,
was that an aha? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, because we've talked before on our podcast about role versus identity.
yes.
And so many people get caught up in their roles that they lose their identities.
Correct. Absolutely.
Did
Yeah.
that happen for you?
Yes.
And then you had the aha moment?
Yes. And I had the fear of leaving a career where I was incredibly successful. And here I was, single again. And when I got divorced, I had to pay a large sum of money to my ex-husband. And that was fearful for me because I was all on my own. I felt like I was on my own island, but I had to do what I had to do. And it's not always about the money, it's about being happy. And when you're happy and you're joyful inside, so many other things open up in your life and you have more peace. And when you have more peace, you are well holistically, mind, body, and spirit. And so, yeah.
Let's go back. So you started meditating, all of that before you became a health coach, before you became a massage therapist,
Yes.
before you became a Reiki master.
Yes.
So that was the beginning of your journey of your new life.
Correct.
And you made a move from New York City to Florida, right? And you said 2016, right?
Correct. Yes, I did. I lived in New Jersey, but I worked in New York City. And yeah, in 2016, I sold my house. I made a decision. In 2 days, my house sold. And a month later, here I was.
And you didn't even have a job.
Well, I stayed on as a consultant for a while because I didn't want to leave my clients at the time. I had a few that I did still have that very personal connection with, and I love them very much. And it was part of my journey. I was still trying to figure out what to do, still meditating, still believing that whatever's meant to be is going to be. And then it was, here I go, getting banged in the head by the universe again. Like, this is not where you belong anymore. This is not bringing you joy, So all of it started to unfold very organically.
I love that you started to recognize, and I'd love for our listeners to really tune into themselves and say, is there real joy inside of me? Because I think we forget that that's where it all starts, is the joy inside of us for the perfect journey. Right. And it's not about the job. It's not about, it's not about the friends or the this or the that. It starts right here inside of us.
Right.
You also talked about, so you got introduced to Reiki through a beautiful woman that became your mentor. And unfortunately she's gone on to heaven, but she's still your guide, as you said.
Absolutely. Judith Hitchman was her name. Yes. She's still my guide. Always will be.
And you went there participated and thought, I want to be part of this. And you became a Reiki master.
Yes. Yeah. I went to her Reiki circles at Enchanted Spirits, and I just kept going back. I just felt this connection, with what this was, whatever this was. And then I wanted to know more about it. And it was feeding my soul. It was feeding me. It wasn't depleting me. It was feeding me.
I want everybody to hear, you're a very intelligent woman that had worked in a very high-powered position in a very high-powered city. High-pressured city that realized that connecting to her soul, to her spiritual self, made a difference. It was feeding her soul. So I want people to hear that this isn't airy-fairy stuff. This is the reality of longevity of our lives. And it doesn't mean you have to get out of a high-powered career if you love it, but you still got to connect to your soul, right? I mean, you still got to get to that point of connection to your soul. And I love how then you took that Reiki experience and your meditation experience, and you said, okay, what's next, God, right? How do I do this? And what happened then?
Well, again, sitting and meditating and being still and putting it out there. Please guide me. How do I get from here, point A, to point B? And I had to understand, okay, so what was the question I was really asking? It's like really being intentional when you're asking, what is my intention here? My intention was, how do I make a positive impact on people's lives while still having the right to earn an income? And now, because I have been meditating for so long, it was maybe 2 days. It was like, poof, there goes the download. I call them the downloads. It's like so obvious. I heard, go to massage school and get your license. What? Okay. But when I hear these things, you don't ignore it anymore because you're listening, you're aware. I looked into schools. 2 weeks later, I was enrolled in school. That's how fast it happens. You listen, you go for it. And that was
listening is the key. You keep talking about this. Listening is the key, and that you spent 7 years trying to figure this piece out until you finally tuned in and started saying, okay, I'm listening now, God, right?
I am listening. Correct. Absolutely.
I love it.
We're sharing this because we don't want people to have 7 years go by where you're floundering going, what am I doing? What am I doing? We're here to guide you. We're here to help you. We're here to empower you to say you're not alone. You're not alone on this journey.
Right.
We've been in your shoes. I've been in your shoes. I will be your guide. I will help you. I will assist you on your healing journey.
And what I love about this is that women need to understand, and men that are listening, that you don't have to have a massive crisis in your life to make a change. And unfortunately, I went through a health crisis that woke me up because I didn't pay attention to those nudges. Yes. And those messages and those things that were coming to me. And I didn't have joy. And I was an empty soul. And I wasn't feeding my soul as you talk about feeding your soul. Now you've gone on and you're now a massage therapist and you specialize in this Ashiatsu.
Very good. Yes.
Right, 2 times in a row. And that is barefoot massage. So correct. Cool. Yeah. Way, way cool. She got magical feet, so I'm told. Yeah. You're just using all of these new pieces. But then the thing that intrigues me a lot, and I don't want to miss it because I don't want us to talk too long on all these pieces because believe me, we can always bring you back and talk more on each individual.
Sure. I'd love to.
That would be something we could definitely talk about. But you're also a health coach.
Correct.
So tell us about that journey and why it is important for you to be a health coach for others.
So health coaching came about, and I don't want people to misinterpret what health coaching means. And typically it can mean, just nutrition, movement, exercise, sleep habits, what have you. For me, it's health and wellness. It's holistic health and wellness coaching. So if you look at the Trinity, the triangle, it's mind, body, and spirit. It is most critical to start within. We have to have a connection. We have to feed our souls, as we just said. We have to have that connection. We have to feed our souls and truly connect to our internal guide before we can even get into moving forward. Because I'm sure you know this, and a lot of people that are listening, they're aware, if they're not aware now, they're becoming aware. We are in a major pinnacle in the universe of shift of what people are looking for, not big pharma, not being fed different things. This medication leads to that medication. It's so, let's just use, for example, overeating or bulimia, one extreme to the other. There's an emotional component, an underlying emotional component. More than not, it's something very traumatic. That's where my Opus Peace Soul Injury Ambassador, it's a long title, but Opus Peace Soul Injury Ambassador, that soul injury training that I took, it's an intensive training. You really get to the core, and it teaches you, I will guide you how to just sit in that pain. You have to feel it. It's not easy. It's not comfortable. It's point blank, it stinks. But to sit in that pain is the only way you can heal that pain. And when you start healing from the inside, everything else on the outside is it happens so much more quickly. It falls into place, because you're leading from a place of joy.
I love when you talk about the triangle, because the base of this triangle is what? Our spiritual, which
Correct.
is the foundation.
Exactly.
And it's funny because so many times we work on mind and body, but we forget this piece, and we wonder why our life still feels rocky or not right, or there's not true joy or peace in our soul. And I love you shared that you're working with a client, and you said, look, we're gonna start here, because we have to get your spiritual self right.
Mm-hmm. And she's a person that is deeply connected to God. She's got a tremendous faith. She's just not listening, not still, always going. And you know what? It's difficult. You're married, you have children, you have a job. It's difficult, but it's find 5 minutes, wake up 5 minutes early, sit in peace. I don't care where it is. It could be in your closet. Wherever you can have just some stillness, things really start to shape and form and get better for you. And I mean, it's something that I can promise people. You just have to stick with it. It's about making the commitment to yourself that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and I think that's the key here. We've got to talk about, it starts with a commitment for the change, number one. Well, first, I guess we'll go, number one is probably recognizing that there is an emptiness, or that there's a missing piece, and making a decision to shift that energy, and like you said, making a commitment to finding out the right things. This is not about taking a new drug. This is not about buying more stuff. It's not about materialistic things. It's not about if I got a new job, I'd be happier. It's not about if I got a new house, I'd be happier. It's not about if I got a divorce, I'd be happier.
It's not about if
I got married, I'd be happier. It's not about that, right? Or if I had a baby, I'd be happier.
Yeah.
I think we need to make sure people understand that. And this has been your whole journey, which is about finding that peace within your soul and feeding it.
Mm-hmm. Happiness lies within. So when you ask someone, okay, what do you want? What do you want in your life? 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, like when you say to someone, really, truly, what are you looking for? What do you want in your life? I just want to be happy. What does that mean? If you ask somebody like, who are you? What do you want? you'd be amazed at how many people, and I was one of them. I'm saying people are not alone, and this is not in judgment. This is about truly caring about individuals. We're all in this together. No one is alone. But if you ask someone, what do you want? Almost every single person, the first thing they'll say is, I want to be happy.
They don't know where to start, right?
No,
They're
they don't.
looking for happiness in the outside world, that because our world speaks so loudly to us that if you just look this way, you'll be happier. If you just own this car, you'll be happier. If you just, did this Botox, you'd be prettier, and so you'll be happier. And all of those pieces. And you're saying, shut out that noise, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Tune into self and start feeding the soul with that positivity.
Yeah.
Do you do positive affirmations, Tina?
Yes. Well, as a matter of fact, I met this lovely woman, Katie Kremitzos, in Tampa, and she has a podcast where she does women's meditation network. And she has positive affirmations on her podcast, and her voice is it's like you're on a pillow. It's like you're on a cloud when you listen to her. And the positive affirmation, one of the meditations is morning positive affirmations, and they're fabulous. And they're exactly the affirmations that I would say to myself, but now I listen with her. And sometimes in the evening, I'll even listen to it and have it go into my subconscious, like when I go to bed. It's a great way, people that have insomnia. Insomnia is meaning it's like another form of pain. You're off balance. Your body is not in homeostasis. And like you were saying about taking another drug or whatever. I mean, look at TV, look what's on our commercials. This drug, that drug leads to that side effect. And that means you have to take that drug. I'm 56 years old. I am on no drugs. I'm proud to say that. And I want that for everyone. I do. I truly want them to be well from the inside out. And I'm not saying that there's not a place for modern medicine. I'm not saying that at all. Sometimes people need to be on medication. What I'm saying is, let's really like peel back the layers and get to the core of who we are and see how you feel from that point. And it's like a building. It's a process. It's not a quick fix. It's a process. But the sun begins to get brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter, and it's just beautiful.
Beautiful. So in a nutshell, what I'm hearing, and you correct me if I'm wrong, physical wellness starts with spiritual wellness.
Absolutely. Pain is a signal, whether it's our body in pain, and a lot of times our physical pain is from emotional pain.
Well, Tina, I could sit and talk to you all day because you have had some amazing experiences. You also do yoga. You went to India.
Yes.
Had an amazing experience there.
I did.
Plugging into your soul and being, like you said, filling yourself up so that you have joy from the inside out. And that is really the key. Any last final word for our listeners to send them off on their wonderful new life, new health journeys?
Well, there's a quote that I came upon years ago, and it's a big reason why I named my company Soulshine Wellness. And I don't remember exactly who said it to me or where I heard it, but I want to leave people with this. It is our birthright to have our soul shine. Meaning, when we came into this world, our soul was shining. So it's conditions, the way we were raised, where we live now, the people we surround ourselves with, do we watch the news, what have you. Those are the things then that kind of cover and mask that. That's why I wore my shiny, glittery shirt today, is because it is our birthright. We came into this world. God brought us into this world with openness. And that, to me, is something that resonated with my soul. And that's what I want to leave people with.
Wow, Tina, that is a powerful, powerful message, right, Priscilla? I mean, it's just, Priscilla, you've been so quiet. You're just like.
I know. That's because I will tell you, from the moment I met Tina, there's this beautiful personality, the love, the light just totally shines. And the listeners, as you've heard my story and our story, Nikki's and ours, and all the people that we talk to on these podcasts, you would think sometimes that they're the same and that, but everybody has their own journey. Yes. And it just, meeting Tina made my soul shine brighter. You can't not walk away without a smile on your face. I love these messages. I think one of the greatest things that I get from Tina's story, and every time I talk to her, she'll share, she heard something, she got that message, and then she followed it. And most of us may hear it and we just like go on. And I love that she followed it. And even in following it, when it wasn't easy, she did it anyways. And it shows in her life and her accomplishments how incredible she is. And that, Tina, I love that. I love it.
Thank you, Priscilla. You're bringing me to tears.
Well, she made a commitment to herself.
Yes.
to be better and to love herself from within. And I believe, as we close this out for all of our listeners, that we've got to truly feed ourselves, our souls, love ourselves from the depth of our souls, because when our spirit is got a hole or it's empty, it means it's time to fill it back up. And we got to sometimes make changes. And you're right, Priscilla. She said she heard it and she took action. So if you're hearing those, I call them God nudges, it's time to take action, ladies and gentlemen. And we just want you to know that we're putting together all of these wonderful people that can help you on your health journeys, whether it's physical, spiritual, emotional health journeys. Between Priscilla and now Tina and Amy, we had on the last podcast. We have so many people that can guide you and take you down this path. With that said, we thank you for being here today. Remember, until next time, we are Women Empowered.
Thank you for listening to another episode of We Are Women Empowered. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. For additional resources and podcast information, please visit us at wearewomenempowered.com.